hair. It's just,
She had white line.
yes.
See, mine was red, so I never had that white.
It's kind of red. Did Ben take?
Yeah.
No.
So polite.
Well, I
7 o'clock, I'll call this meeting of the Common Council to order. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
just showed you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I said today, you know, just
We'll move next to roll call. Clerk Treasurer Aldrich.
Carolyn Pearson,
presents.
Richard Trader,
Present.
Brian Garrison, Dale Stewart,
Here.
Mike Stockton.
Present.
Hi, Jean.
I will now open the floor for the nomination of the President Pro Tem of the Council. Is there a nomination for President Pro Tem in 2018?
I would make a motion to have Carolyn Pearson be that president for 2018.
We have a nomination for Carolyn Pearson to be President Pro Tem in 2018. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the nomination, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Floor is still open for nominations. Are there any further nominations for the position of President Pro Tem? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll now open the floor for a motion to vote on the nominations. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor of Carolyn Pearson serving as President Pro Tem in 2018 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The council has been presented with the minutes from the December 4th meeting. Are there any additions, subtractions, deletions, or amendments to be made to this set of minutes?
Know that the minutes of the December 4th meeting be approved as presented.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You should have some written reports on your tables. Superintendent Lyons, would you like to give a short verbal presentation of December of 2017?
Sure. December was a relatively slow month, except for some snow removal. All of our projects got completed for the most part. The Monroe Street storm line project and the curbs, that got completed, with the exception of sowing seed, that'll be done in the spring. Main Street got completed, punch list completed, so that's off the books. The one other project, the pump station, that's all completed except for an AR valve that BF&S is supposed to be replacing, that isn't working properly. That's all the projects that we had, so those are pretty much buttoned up, other than our winter maintenance on all the vehicles, oil changes, things of that nature. And then some snow removal this month. It's kind of last month in the year in a nutshell.
Do you have
Any questions for me?
Any questions for Superintendent Lyons?
I do. Can you please tell your men that they did a good job and tell them I saw no complaints, and I think they did a good job getting that snow removed. They were out quick and got it done, so
Certainly pass it along. Thank you.
appreciate it.
Any other questions? Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for our other department heads? I think Chief should be back later in the meeting.
I would like to hear from Craig and Dick. I mean, they're here. I would like to hear from them.
Superintendent Myers, is there anything you'd like to add?
There's in the written report, well 3 building has been framed up. We're waiting on weather permitting to do the siding and shingling and electrical work. Been battling frozen meters the last couple days. Kind of runs with the weather. So, other than that, we did 3 water leaks this month. replace a couple service lines. Other than that, any questions?
Thank you, Superintendent. Superintendent Van Sickle?
Yeah, I don't have much. The only thing coming up this next month, we're gonna have the gate replaced at the wastewater plant on the entrance gate. That's supposed to happen, I believe, the 8th of January. Questions to ask or something?
Any questions for the
I wasn't
superintendent?
prepared.
Dick, are you in the process of making up a 5-year plan for what you may think you're gonna need, or maybe expansion-wise or anything like that?
Not necessarily a 5-year plan, Mike. I mean, we're actively working with Butler, Thurman, and Seifert, the mayor, Indiana Packers on whatever kind of expansion happens that's going to accommodate their expansion.
Okay.
So it doesn't sound like a 5-year plan, but it's going to happen before then. So.
Thank you.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
Sorry.
Is that millions on that bond? Is that what you're talking about, that expansion?
Whatever expansion, Dale, that Indiana Packers is gonna do is gonna affect us. Yeah, so I don't think it's finalized on the process that's gonna be taken. The monies, I know there was the big numbers thrown out. I don't know, we just have to see.
Okay. Well, we read about that in the comment several months ago when Sam Dywert resigned from the Board of Works. We read about I think a $55 million bond or something like that. Is there any update on that, or where are we at on that?
We're at the same place we were last month when I provided my mayor's report. That right now Indiana Packers Corporation is taking up with their board. How we proceed depends on how Indiana Packers Corporation wants to proceed. If they don't need 1.5 million gallons of sewage each day on top of what we have currently, then we need to do $1.5 million or $1.5 million gallon expansion. Same on the water side. So really, they're the first step in this. We should hear back. I think they said first 2 weeks of January. At that point, I can inform the council of where we're at. But right now, it depends on how many gallons of water we're going to be pumping, how many gallons of sewer we're going to be treating, and we don't have that for sure at this time.
I just wondered, when you say that delivery of the Micro C 2000 carbon source, is that still the same compensation from IPC that?
We're still using it the same way we were. We get compensated. We don't get it all back, but we recover some of the costs on carbon.
Any further questions for the superintendent? We'll move next to Area Planning Commission report. Councilman Seward.
Nothing to report, no meeting in December.
Move next to Community Center Committee report. We should have a copy of 2 sets of minutes. Is there anything further you'd like to add, Councilman Shockley?
Yeah, we have, that report we took and, I should say we, Jeff's crew took and last Friday and last Saturday, blew 18-inch insulation into the ceiling. The floor heat is on in the building. I walked in there this morning. Most of you know how cold it was. Well, the thermometer in the building is at 62 degrees. So that's where your floor is heating the building. And since we put the insulation in, it went from like 48 to 50 degrees in there when we were using salamanders and stuff, to 60 to 62 degrees. We have also painted 4 ceilings in the building. We're at the stage now where we're getting ready to wipe the walls down, clean them all down, and paint the ceiling in the office area, and then we'll have the big ceiling in the seating area, or dinner room, to paint yet. So that's where we're at right now.
Thank you, Councilman. Any questions for the councilman? Thank you. We'll move next to proposed ordinance 2017-19, read by title alone. Ordinance repealing Delphi Code sections 30.25, 30.26, and 30.27 regarding community rooms. Prior to debate on this matter, I would ask if there's a motion to pass proposed ordinance 2017-19 on third and final reading.
I vote for approval of ordinance 2017-19 on third reading.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion regarding proposed ordinance 2017-19? Hearing none, I'll call the question as to the passage of 2017-19. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Move next to proposed ordinance 2017-20, read by title alone, permitting vacation rentals by owner within U1 and U2 zones within the city of Delphi. Prior to debate on this matter, I would ask if there is a motion to pass proposed ordinance 2017-20 on second reading.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion regarding proposed ordinance 2017-20? I'll call the question as the passage of 2017-20 on second reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. That was only the second reading this added, so
Okay.
public comment at the end.
Okay, thanks.
We'll move next to appointment or reappointment of 2 members to the Delphi Redevelopment Commission. We're going to do this the same way with President Pro Tem. I'll open the floor to nominations. Are there nominations to the Delphi Redevelopment Commission?
I would nominate Kevin Gaskell.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the question as to the nomination of Kevin Gaskill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Floor is still open for nominations. Are there any further nominations to the Delphi Redevelopment Commission? There's 2 open slots on this.
2 total or 2 more?
2 total from the council, 3 from the mayor.
So is Kevin currently serving?
Yes. Kevin Gaskell and Anita Whirling are the council's current representatives to the Delphi Redevelopment Commission.
I'll move for reappointing Anita Warren.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call the question as to the nomination of Anita Whirling to the Delphi Redevelopment Commission. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Floor is still open for nominations. Are there any nominations on the floor? Is there a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the question as to the closing of the nominations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to vote on the nominees?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the question as to the voting of both Anita Whirling and Kevin Gaskill to the Delphi Redevelopment Commission. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move next to appointment of 1 member to the Northwest Solid Waste District. Before we get into this, are there any questions regarding the Northwest Solid Waste District? I believe it has to be an elected official from the city of Delphi appointed to the Northwest Solid Waste District. I was appointed the last 2 years. My schedule generally doesn't allow me to go to the meetings. They're on the 4th Thursday of the month, same as the Board of Aviation Commissioners, same as a couple other things. So I'll open the floor to nominations to the Northwest Solid Waste District.
Mike, would you consent to serve on that? I mean, if you don't wish to, I just asked. Where
I have
is
a
it
question for-
located?
What does it consist of, Mr. Mayor?
Generally, the meetings are held in Monticello. Give me a second. I should have provided a memorandum regarding it. Okay, so there's normally 6 meetings scheduled a year. They can vary between the first and second Thursdays of the month. Honestly, I thought it was 4. But they always begin at 7 p.m. in Monticello. So 6 meetings a year, 7 p.m. in Monticello.
I will accept that.
All right.
I would move then that, Mike Shockley be appointed to that position.
We have a motion for nomination at this point. Is there a second?
Second.
Call the question as to the nomination of Councilman Shockley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There any other nominations? I would take a motion to close the nominations.
So moved.
Second.
President Pro Tem Pearson with the motion, Councilman Traeger with the second. All those in favor of closing nominations?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And is there a motion to vote Councilman Shockley as the appointee to the Northwest Solid Waste District?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the question as to the nomination and appointment of Councilman Shockley to the Northwest Solid Waste District. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move next to proposed ordinance 2018-1, read by title alone, ordinance enacting and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances for the City of Delphi. Prior to debate on this matter, I would ask if there is a motion to pass proposed ordinance 2018-1 on first reading.
I'll move to pass ordinance 2018 on first reading.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Is there any further discussion regarding proposed ordinance 2018-1?
Okay, just for clarification, do we do this every year or every, how many years or?
In the past, we hadn't done it every year. I think it's a lot easier and better to do it every year because we have an updated code of ordinances that we can put on the City of Delphi website. I know when I was running for office, the most recent one available online was a 2007 code of ordinances, and this was in 2015. So I think it's best if we keep the codification up to date, and if we can do it every year, I wouldn't see a problem with it. All we did was took the ordinances that were passed in 2017, put them in the spots that they were supposed to be within the Code of Ordinances, which was Title 3, 5, 7, parallel citations, and special ordinances. Is there any further discussion regarding proposed ordinance 2018-1? I'll call the question as to the passage of proposed ordinance 2018-1 on first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. As I would like to get this up on the city website, is there a motion to suspend the rules of procedure to allow for passage on the same day as introduction?
So moved.
Is there- I'll call the question as to the suspension of the rules of procedure to allow passage on the same day as introduction. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to pass proposed ordinance 2018-1 on second reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of passage on second reading, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And is there a motion to pass proposed ordinance 2018-1 on third and final reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of passage of proposed ordinance 2018-1 on third and final reading, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move next, proposed ordinance 2018-2, read by title alone, creating standing committees and procedure for creation of select committees. This is kind of out of, it's not a normal thing that we do every month or every year. So are there any questions or discussion prior to motion on this proposed ordinance?
I do not see it as a necessary thing.
Any further discussion?
What are your details here? Could you break them down again to me, what you're expecting out of this?
It depends on what it is. I gotta look in. So for like the finance committee, what I would like to have them look at is revenues every year, and try to forecast out what the revenues could be in future years so that we can try to better plan for the future. So if we have general fund revenue each year and it's gone up from 2 million to 2.1 to 2.3, trying to forecast that out to figure out where we're gonna be so we can anticipate what special projects we can do in the future. Same thing on the expense side. If health insurance has increased 18% in the last 5 years, I don't know the exact figures, but we could expect to see an increase in health insurance in future years. Knowing that information, we can better plan for the future and prepare for special projects, know where we're gonna be financially. On some of these other ones,
Okay, so then in that position, I have zero knowledge of either one of them. Where do I bring value to the time spent doing it? Because I'm not sure that I know anything about that to help you be able to figure that out.
part of being in the committee is learning and talking to Leanne and finding what our revenue is, or looking on Gateway, and trying to put that into some sort of study to educate the rest of the council on what that is. I mean,
But I believe as being elected as a council person is to set budgets, legislate, do our legislative jobs of working on ordinances. Now, I don't have a problem with meeting with like the street department or something at budget time to work with them on figuring out what's going. But for me, for a whole committee, and then you're talking, there's only 5 of us, how many committees are we gonna end up on that list you had?
oh, I think
And
it's,
my day-to-day is more executive than it is legislative, day-to-day business. So that's just my take on it. I mean,
I agree with Brian. I think it's the mayor's responsibility to study this. I don't see it as council duties.
I mean, I don't have a problem being on selected committees when committees are needed, but to think that I can be a benefit, or, and this being me because I'm still employed and have a full-time job, but I really have the time to be able to do a lot of research on, say, insurance, that I'm gonna be a benefit to that committee. So if I was to be part of it, it would be select things that I feel like I could be any help with.
thank you. Are there any of the committees within this proposal? I just highlighted finance. Give me a second. Get to other committees that I proposed. So I've got one for special projects, identifying any special projects the council would like to have done. Maybe that falls outside of the scope of a normal department. Traffic and parking, which is legislatively falls under the city council. 4-way stops, 1-way streets, parking where signs are. And then the other select committees that I had identified as possibilities is a salary and wages study committee to see where we are with similarly sized municipalities as well as surrounding municipalities. Building code enforcement study guide, figuring out what we're going to do with building codes. Community development director, roles, duties, and responsibilities, since those funds were cut. Legislative options, and seeing what's out there. I know I was reading the Times Sentinel from Boone County, and they have a $50,000 micro loan program. I think it's through the Boone County EDC, but they have set up for local businesses. These are options that we could take advantage of here in the city of Delphi if we have knowledge of them. Building maintenance standards, another legislative item, and then the Delphi zoning ordinance, which is also legislative. These are things that I can study and make recommendations to the council on, but I also have a lot of stuff going on. Is there any further discussion regarding proposed ordinance 2018-2?
I'm kind of following with Carolyn and especially Brian. We've got job descriptions that cover some of that. We've got budget workshops and budget hearings that cover some of that. And we've got ordinance work that covers most of the rest of that. I think we're doing that, most all this right now. I don't see what the what the deal is of having committees, and to me, it's just big government, and it's a waste of resources, but that's just my opinion.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I think, like Carolyn and Brian, that we will be overwhelmed by being on all the committees, and even though there's only, according to this, will be 3-member committee, to do everything that we want to do. I know we got ordinances that cover junk cars and all that stuff, and everything. I can't see why we have to have an ordinance for special citation.
Thank you, Council. Any further discussion? There are motions to pass proposed ordinance 2018-2? I didn't think so. All right. We'll move next to proposed resolution 2018-1, read by title alone, a resolution creating council liaisons and city departments. Same thing, do we want to have discussion prior to motion on this? And Councilman Stewart, this was your idea. I don't know if I properly summarized it in the resolution. Would you like to have the floor?
I'm not sure it goes as far as, I'm not sure my suggestion goes as far as the resolution goes. My input was to provide some type of connector between the city council and a specific department head for the upcoming budget hearings that we have every year. Other than that, I don't really see too much necessary as far as, a constant liaison. I don't want to be breathing down these guys' necks. I mean, most of them are doing a great job the way it is, but, as far as budget time, I think it would kind of help to know, if we're hearing about problems 3 or 4 months ahead of time, we're not getting blindsided when it comes to budgets. And if nobody agrees with me, that's fine. That's just my personal thought.
I know we've done this in the past. It's certainly not a new idea. How successful it is, I mean, I've certainly served on a number of them through the years, and, I think we could accomplish, other than close to budget time, I think it's kind of maybe a helpful tool. But, the rest of the year, I think we can accomplish most of the same thing if we just listen to verbal comments from our department heads. I feel like that's a connection that you can't get from a written report. It opens the floor for discussion, needs, something that is not working. I mean, this just written department head reports does not work for me. And we've tried it for 2 years now, and I would like to have department head reports at our common council meetings. Regarding this resolution, I am okay with it. I don't think it's essential, but I'm okay with it.
Any further discussion from the council?
Yeah, I guess I'm in the minority. I think the more we deal with the department heads through the year, talk to them individually or in their offices, I think that's a great thing. We wait till the last 2-3 months or the month before we do budget, that's all we do. And it's, I think it's good to have one-on-one relationships. So I'm in the minority. I do on occasion stop into their offices and talk to them. Not as much as I should probably, but I think it's a good idea. So that's my own opinion.
See, I'm sort of reading into this the way you wrote it in 2 different ones, because I do think that there should be somebody that's connected to each department, the street, the police. I don't think we have much to say, but we could still, the wastewater, so that they have a connector too, if they have an issue that needs to be addressed. So this part of it, this resolution, that's not on the same bank as the first one. I like this one. I think they should have a go-to spot. I don't think you have to be there every day or once a week and visit them, but if they need you, that gives them a person to communicate with. And earlier time to get in on the budget, so. As far as our main departments, I like that idea. So you're not totally.
No, I'm just saying.
I know, I agree with
I mean, I realize some people's times are limited, but you know, if you can, if I see them, I talk to them. And it's nice to know what's going on sometimes, and hopefully they would feel they could come to me or anybody else and ask questions
Absolutely.
outside of the meetings. You know, a meeting once a month, that's not enough time if things happen.
Do we have any further discussion regarding proposed resolution 2018-1? Councilman Seward, you said something about maybe it wasn't drafted as you had expected. Are there any amendments that you would move?
Maybe you could read it for the public.
The public should have copies within, but I can do it verbally if you so desire. I try to provide all proposed resolutions and ordinances within that stapled copy. But I can read, I guess, the legal language. Each counselor shall be appointed to 1 or 2 departments to serve as the council liaison to that department. The mayor shall appoint counselors' departments at the regular council meeting in January each year. Counselors shall meet with department heads to understand the status of equipment and capital assets as well as future projects of the departments. That's the gist of the language.
I'll move for approval of proposed resolution 2018-2.
2018-1.
No, that's one, excuse me.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question as to the passage of proposed ordinance 2018-1 on first and final reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll try to talk to you guys in the next month, figure out what departments you'd like to be connectors to. We move next to proposed resolution 2018-2, read by title alone, a resolution setting 2018 trick-or-treat date and time. Prior to debate on this matter, I guess we can open it up for discussion if you'd like, or we can go ahead and move straight into a motion for passage. Proposed resolution 2018-2, a resolution setting 2018 trick-or-treat date and time.
It's not what our packet says.
It says 3.
3 is the trick or treat, 18-2
Two
is
is the
the
garage
garage.
sale
Well.
permit on ours.
My apologies.
No, it's all right.
That wasn't, should be, that's an error in the agenda. So proposed resolution 2018-2 is a resolution setting 2018 trick-or-treat date and time. So the agenda is wrong, but the language within the resolution corresponds to number 2 is trick-or-treat date and time. Is there any discussion on this proposed resolution?
And we're doing